All right, here we go. Another week. We finally reached the end. The the final week of the regular season, and obviously the NFL got what they wanted in a couple of games that will obviously determine the playoff field. But one game today with a potential controversial way of a team that could get into the playoffs. But we will get to it as quickly as we can in this final week of the regular season. And Matt, I know we normally end with the Eagles. We are not today. We will not pick the Eagles last. So,
Mm.
but we will get to the games that do not have any indications of next week's postseason situation. So, all right, the following games we will not look over, Matt. The following games, and I'm sure you'll write them down. You will write some of these down. Rams at hosting the Cardinals.
Yeah. There's no point in that game.
Cowboys at Giants.
Right.
Cleveland at Cincinnati.
Right.
Kansas City at Vegas.
Right.
Buffalo hosting the Jets in the final game at Rich Stadium. By the way,
Okay.
last game ever at Rich Stadium, but it is a meaningless game, unfortunately. And then the following games have unanimous selections. Jacksonville over Tennessee.
Correct. Yeah.
That would give them the AFC South title.
Yeah, and they're
And
still in the hunt for the number one seed.
yeah, but it's really a long shot at this point.
Yeah, but still, you never know, man.
And then Houston against Johnny B's Colts.
Yeah. The Colts probably aren't winning that one.
Oh yeah, we also forgot about Minnesota and Green Bay. Now, yes, Green Bay's in the playoffs, but that matchup is meaningless because Green Bay will be the seventh seed automatically. That
Right.
matchup means nothing.
Yeah, right. Oh, speaking of the Colts, I wonder, I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but if they lose this week, how many losses in a row is that for them to close out the year? It's got to be at least five, right?
If they lose tomorrow, no, that'd be seven. Wow.
Epic collapse from Johnny BS's BS Colts, man.
Yeah, yeah, your boy. I mean, like I said, Matt and Johnny B will meet in February, coming to a theater near you.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Johnny B's house if he's hiding from us by then.
well, he ain't gonna be hiding,
Yeah,
especially
I don't know,
especially if
man.
the Eagles don't. Especially if the Eagles don't have any success, because he does pray that the Eagles don't get to the Super Bowl this year. He'll jump for joy for that, or if his Bears get there.
No, he's not a Bears fan, bro. There's no. I'm a Bears fan. He
Well,
tries to say that shit, I'll shut him down.
well, like I said, he's been running his mouth happily for that, and always still thinks about that Black Friday game, the game that almost broke the Eagles, the game that almost broke us.
Oh, we're
But
still going. We're still going.
yeah, and there's a very good chance we will be seeing those rematch, even though it won't be here. It'll be at Soldier Field, but there is a very good chance of a rematch. But that
Maybe. I mean, really, if the Bears get the two seed and they're playing the Packers, I mean, there's no guarantee they're winning that game. I mean, the Eagles, whoever they end up playing, the way they've been playing, there's no guarantee they win that. I mean, hey, if the Eagles are the number three seed, they're playing an NFC West team. You
yeah, they're gonna
know,
play the Rams. Yeah, that's not
they
going to be
beat
an
the
easy game
Rams.
at all. I know that, but I can trust the
Yeah,
Eagles against the Rams because of the fact that it's going to be chilly and our defense is playing awesome right now. And I don't think the
yeah,
Rams
I
will have a
wouldn't
lot of
count on
momentum.
that. I wouldn't count that much on that. I mean, they came to Philly last year and almost took us out. So
I know, but we have the Rams number. It's like the Packers. We played them so many times. You play a team so many times, they still can't beat you. How are they going to beat you when it matters? I mean, not saying it's
Yeah, but
not a guarantee. Nothing's guaranteed in life, as you know, and especially
hey,
in the NFL.
eventually they get that win. They get over the hump. Man. We've seen it. We saw with Tampa against the Eagles back in the early 2000s. We thought
Yeah,
we were going to the Super Bowl that year. We saw it with the Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Eventually, the Colts won. I
yeah,
mean, you play them enough times, you're going to lose.
yeah, yeah. If you play them, yeah, if you do play them enough, and they know enough about you, but remember, it's always about the coaching and the game plan. And if they didn't get it right the first time or the second time, how are you sure they're going to get it right the third time?
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we'll obviously preview the playoffs next week, obviously. But to today and to this weekend, we will start with the AFC's number one seed and get those games over with. I mean, obviously, it's not a lot to think about in this match, in these two matchups, but obviously New England and Denver are fighting for it. Jacksonville is a very, very big long shot. They also have to protect their division because they still haven't clinched their division yet. So they could still end up playing in the wild card round. So we're excusing Jacksonville from this, and we're going to keep it as Denver versus New England. Now we will start with New England, and they will host Miami, who is a relatively hot team down the stretch. Even though it's meaningless because they benched Tua, even though they've won five of their last 7 games, but they have benched Tua. He is done for good in Miami from all intents and purposes. Quinn Ewers is now the quarterback. He got his first NFL win last week. But they're playing New England, who is basically playing their ass off right now, and very much will get a home. We'll get 2 home games as of we believe. But like I said, they're back in the top of the AFC East, and still hoping that maybe Denver will falter to win the 1 seed. But they have to beat Miami first. And we both kind of agree where we're going to go here. So get quickly to this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Quinn Ewers, I mean, he got to win, but let's be real with him, man. Come on. Um, and to make matters worse, I saw Devon Achan is listed as doubtful for this game. So there looks like they're maybe are going to bench this. So it makes sense. Why even bother at this point? I mean, they did enough that it should save Mike. It probably saves Mike McDaniel's job for 1 more year. Um, Patriots are just a way better team. Obviously, they're going for the number 1 seed. They're going to crush them. So Patriots with the win. Final score. Let's go with 38-17.
Yeah, this is not going to be much of a matchup. I mean, at this point, Drake May might play in this game, but they're not going to do much to, they're going to destroy them the way they destroyed the Jets last week. I don't have any faith in Miami. I don't even know what they're going to put out there. This is probably Mike McDaniel's last game there. There's rumors about him, that he could. I've heard rumors about him getting another job. He might lose this job but get another job in the NFL as a head coach. That's the rumor I'm also hearing.
Well, I mean, if he does lose the job, yeah, he could get another coaching job pretty quick, but I don't think they're going to fire him. But I
Well,
will say, man, if he loses the job and he doesn't get a head coaching job, that would be somebody I would have on my radar as the next Eagles offensive coordinator if I was running the Eagles.
we'll see. I mean, Kevin Patullo is going into this postseason not better produce or else because his job is nowhere near safe, and he kind of knows it. And I think everybody around the block knows it.
Yeah.
But as far as this matchup, yeah, I think the Patriots are going to blow them out. I'm going to go 48-10. They put 42 on the Jets, so it shouldn't be that hard. and that was at the Meadowlands, so it shouldn't be that hard. All right, now we're going to go to the Denver Charger matchup. Now, for whatever reason, Justin Herbert has been shut down for this game. He will not play in this game, and I don't think many of their stars are because they are in the wild card. But
well, he's been banged up.
I know he's got the hand injury still. He's still recovering from that, and he has a few other unknown injuries. But the story is Houston, who still has an outside chance in the division. The Chargers and the Bills all are wild card teams. Chargers and Bills are locked into the wild card. So, as of now, this is a very important game for the Chargers because if the Bills beat the Jets, which is pretty much a given, no matter what they put out there, if the Chargers lose this game to Denver, which is still possible because Denver needs this to win home field advantage, the Chargers could fall to the 7th seed, which means they would have to either play the Broncos again. Well, they wouldn't if they are the 7th seed, or they have to play New England. I don't know if this is a smart tactistic game for either team, but Denver's, from what I've heard, are playing their starters at least for a little bit. So we'll see how this game goes. But Denver knows if they win, the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC goes through the Mile High. So go ahead to it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the Chargers are benching all their players. Another guy who's out is Omarion Hampton, who's not even injured. He was injured for a good portion of the year, but they're just resting their players. And, there's no point in playing them, risking injury. And Justin Herbert's case is get him some extra time to heal up for the playoffs. So, bottom line, Broncos have something to play for. They're going to be playing their starters unless the game's a blowout. So, they're going to win this one. Easy. Final score. I don't even know, man. I'm going to just go with the same score as I said for the Patriots game, 38-17.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think this is going to be much of an issue. Like I said, if Justin Herbert's not playing, who is their backup quarterback? I think I know who the guy is.
I don't even know, bro.
I think I've seen this guy play, but whoever the backup is, he has his task to try to win. But I got the Broncos winning this game as well. Should be a problem. I'll go 33-20. All right, so now things get interesting because, like I said, we have 2 games today that have a lot on the line. But the first one we're going to do is very, very interesting. Now, we did not mention Saints and Falcons in our straight up. These are not meaningless games because unfortunately that has a lot of meaning. As bad as the NFC South has been this year, and it's been bad, no doubt about it, it's still poor. The problem is everybody's looked better. The bottom tier teams look better than the top tier teams that will be battling for the division since Thanksgiving. Both have over 500 records since Thanksgiving, both the Falcons and the Saints, especially the Saints. They do have an above 500 record since Thanksgiving. The story about this matchup is, we're going to get into Carolina and Tampa Bay in a moment, but Carolina and Tampa Bay battle for the division championship today. Carolina wins, division race is over. Division race is over. It's done. They're the champs. They move on to wild card weekend. But, if Tampa Bay wins, then the matchup we're about to preview does matter because they have a chance to win the division if, and only if, the Saints can go to Atlanta and beat the Falcons. That's the only way they get into the playoffs. A win today and Saints beating the Falcons. Because if the Falcons win, that gives Carolina and Tampa along with the Falcons, a 3-way tie at 8-9. But that would give Carolina the division title. It would give them the division on a 3-way tiebreaker because they would have swept the Falcons, something the Bucs did not do. So we have to, unfortunately, Matt, we have to preview this game because let's say Tampa wins, and only if Tampa wins this game matters. But an interesting matchup of two teams that are playing spoiler and and have to play spoiler for each other team. Carolina needs the Falcons to win, and Tampa Bay needs the Saints to win. I've never done this before. This is the craziest scenario ever. But in the case Tampa Bay wins, this game does matter tomorrow. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, they would have been better off putting this game and Tampa on at the same time and try to make it interesting. But I guess they didn't do that. But we'll talk about Tampa. But in this game, I do think the Saints are going to win it. They've been playing pretty decent lately. Tyler Shuck's not some great quarterback. He's been playing well overall lately. And yeah, give Kellen Moore some credit, man. He's done a great job coaching. He's had a terrible team, and they still have a chance to win the division. So I do think the Saints are going to win this one, and we'll talk about the Panthers and Bucs later. So we're going
to talk about that right next after this.
Oh, okay. Well, I got the Saints winning this one with a final score of let's go with 26-23.
Well, like I said, we've seen craziest stuff that's happened in the NFL this season, and then you look at this division, this crappy division, and then the fact that if Tampa Bay wins tonight, this matchup matters. And in your scenario, you're hoping that Tampa Bay wins because if the Saints win this game against Atlanta, that gives the Bucs the division title, and they keep going to the playoffs, even though they're obviously their odds are way against them. Their backs are against the wall more than they've ever been, at least in the last several years. But the Falcons did have a very impressive win on Monday night, beating the Rams. And Kirk Cousins, your boy, who you called the winner, obviously he had a good game, man. He maneuvered that offense pretty decently. You know, like I said, Bijan Robinson had a game that would have at least made him Offensive Player of the Year if the Falcons had like maybe 4 or 5 more victories than they obviously going to end up with. But I'm going to go with the Falcons here. I think this is going to be a battle. No disrespect to the Saints, but you got to give Kellen Moore a lot of credit. When he went to Tyler Shuck, this team got better, at least offensively, and he started looking better because we all know that the quarterback that was there before him, Desmond Ridder, sucks. He's terrible. Or was it? No, Spencer Rattler, right?
Spencer Rattler was the
he stinks. He is not an NFL quarterback. He's not even a third stringer. He sucks. Get it? Go to UFL, go to the UFL. But in all seriousness, Shucks looks like he's going to be an okay quarterback. He looks like he could be franchise quarterback because with no expectations or no pressure, of course, you're going to play better. So, but I'm going to go with the Falcons. It's going to be a battle. Now, obviously, if Carolina wins tonight, this matchup means nothing. But I'm sure these two teams will still play for pride, even if this matchup means nothing tomorrow. So, but I'm still going to go with the Falcons just in case, and the final score 30-27.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad for what Kellen Moore. I mean, he knew when he took this job it wasn't going to be easy, and it hasn't been easy. But Tyler Shuck looks like he could be a decent quarterback in this league long term. We'll see. We can't look on him. We can't look at him this year yet because this season was kind of like a middle of they've overachieved because they weren't supposed to win 6 games. The Saints were not supposed to win 6 games this year. But
no, I mean, I would say this: if Tampa thinks they're going to go into the future with if the Saints think they're going into the future with Tyler Shuck as their franchise quarterback, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. But he's been good enough to get by this year, and he seems like he'll be a high quality backup quarterback in the league if not over.
we'll see what happens. But you got to give a lot of credit to Kellen Moore for not giving up on the year because he expected he expected the worst, but the outcome record wise is better than anybody thought.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
Yeah. So he should be commended. He should be commended very much for his work this year. First year head coach. He has more wins than Andy Reid did when he was here in Philly the first year. But anyway, but now moving to this matchup, these Saturday matchups, because the Saturday matchups where we're going to go to next here. Obviously, this is a critical matchup, like we already told you about tomorrow's matchup. That's only if Tampa Bay wins. If Carolina wins, that matchup means nothing. They are the South champs. They move on to the wild card round, and they will face the loser of tonight's matchup. They will face the loser of tonight's matchup. But obviously, Tampa Bay has been a mess down the stretch. They have lost 7 of their last 8 after a 6-2 start. Think about that, 6-2, and now they're barely hanging on. Like they've lost everything but the rent. Basically, they've lost everything but the rent. But with Carolina, what they don't know has helped them this year. And even though Bryce Young, still a debate if he's a good enough quarterback or not, for this year, this team is on the verge. He might be playing in a postseason game, which 2 years ago seemed unlikely or just a thought in a dream that he had. So go ahead to the matchup of matchups, and I have a feeling what we just picked. I know where you're going, but still go ahead.
Yeah, well, Tampa's been falling apart this year, man. Just from the beginning, they had a ton of injuries. They were able to get by for a while. The injuries kept piling up, and then Baker Mayfield got injured, and he's been pretty terrible since. And they've gone downhill ever since. Meanwhile, Carolina has started off horribly, and they've been coming on strong lately, man. Another coach to give great credit to is Dave Canales. He's another one that's done an amazing job with a below-average team and a terrible quarterback. So, credit to him. And I think the Panthers are going to win this one, man. They're the team that's coming in hot, and they're going to pull it out. I'm going to say final score will be
Uh-oh.
Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You cut off before you made a score.
Okay. Final score will be let's go with man, I don't even know. I'm gonna say 27-16.
Well, like I said, this will be an interesting matchup. When these two teams met 2 weeks ago, it was a close matchup. It was a close matchup because Carolina doesn't scare anybody. They obviously have overachieved this year and have done an exceptional job. Dave Canales has done an exceptional job. He's not going to win Coach of the Year because it requires like a winning record and a legit chance to go to the Super Bowl. And we know Carolina is now on that level. We know that. But he should still get Coach of the Year for the fact that this team had no expectations coming in. And then all of a sudden they just kept coming and coming and coming. And then all of a sudden here they are. And they have 2 ways. Unlike Tampa, they have 2 ways to make the playoffs to win the division. Either they win today or the Falcons help them win tomorrow. So unfortunately, Tampa has to win or it's over. So, like I said, this is going to be a battle. It's not going to be easy for either team because that's how this South is. It's just a struggle every game, and like I said, it's going to be interesting when this game comes down to the fourth quarter because that's where this game's going to be won. And I'm going to say Carolina has the advantage, and maybe Baker and Mike Evans one more time will make a run or something. Rumors going around that this could be Mike Evans' last game in the NFL. We'll keep you posted on that in the coming weeks. If they don't make the playoffs, it could be his last game. But obviously, a lot of things could come and go. But I'm gonna go with Carolina. I mean, I put money on them since it's not now that the what you would call what time of year fantasy season's over. You mentioned fantasy points here in the last couple of weeks on the lookout. Now I can talk about my side, the betting side, and I put money on this. If Tampa Bay wins today, I get $3 extra on the bet I made. If Carolina wins, I get $30 more. So you think how good is that? How good could I make it? So I'm gonna go with Carolina because if I don't, I'm gonna pee my ass on crap in the morning. So give me Carolina. Final score 27, walk-off field goal 27-24.
Okay. Well, hey, in terms of betting, that you say that's your thing, but man, in our pick'ems, I whooped your ass 3 years in a row now. If you include this year.
Well, I'm still putting together the
Yeah, we
standings.
don't have the exact numbers, but I know I'm pretty far ahead of everybody just from
Well,
what I remember when I last had the update and what we've done since, just off the top of my head. But hey, 2 years in a row now, I whooped your ass, and unofficially three, I'm gonna make it.
well, I'll continue to look at the standings because I'm in week 7. We're actually tied, but like I said, we got several more weeks to come up with something. We'll see. All right.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what we can do.
All right. So tonight is the big matchup. This is a more important matchup because the 1 seed is on the line. And San Francisco, who has come out of nowhere to be, like you said, you and John Smith on the pre-show said that they would be better this year. Well, you're right. They're better than anybody anticipated, especially since Brock Purdy came back. But this team is ready to make a potential run. And if they win tonight, not only do they win the division, they don't have to leave. They don't even have to take a bus. Everybody gets to sleep in their beds for the rest of the season. Yikes. That's pretty cool if they can get to the Super Bowl from where they're at because the Super Bowl will be in their house. For Seattle, this will be easy because Seattle, they have a really strong defense, and under Mike McDonald, since he took over last year in 2024, they are only lost twice on the road. In 28 road games, they've only lost twice. That's pretty damn. Wait a minute. 20, no, 16 road games. My bad. 16 road games, they've only lost twice. So, like I said, this should be very interesting to see how they handle tonight's game, this matchup. A very critical game for Seattle because to me, whoever loses this game, spirits might be broken. Just the fact that they're stuck in going on the road in the playoffs and not getting a bye. So, very critical matchup. Whoever wins their road to the Super Bowl is through them. Loser has to play on the road, and they get to play Carolina or Tampa Bay, which is not a bad consolation prize, but could be a challenge for them if they don't mentally get through what happens tonight. So go ahead.
Well, yeah. I don't remember John's reasoning or exactly what he made the pick, but he did also pick that they were going to rebound this year, the 49ers. My reasoning was simple. I mean, they were banged up again early in the season, but they had a healthy Christian McCaffrey. And that was really my reasoning. He was going to have a monstrous year, which he did. He was the entire offense, basically. Um, and they were also my pick to win this division. So, I'm sticking with my pick of Sam Darnold. We all know what happens to this guy. He's a fraud. He's a good. He put up numbers again in the regular season, got him some wins, just like he did last year with Minnesota. And now, last couple of weeks, he has started to fall off again, just like he always seems to do. It's like what happened last year. Saw this play out last year, and it's going to happen the same. He's going to fall apart, and we're going to be playing next week. And well, we'll see. I mean, there's a chance they lose next week too, but we'll see about that one, man. I mean, they should be able to beat the Panthers or the Bucs or the Saints, but you never know. Either way, I'm taking San Francisco here. Final score of let's go with 33-20.
33-20.
Yeah.
Wow. Like I said, I mean, look, Sam Darnold had to grow a set, obviously, when he played the Rams. The reason why they're in this position to begin with was that Rams game a couple weeks ago on that Thursday, down 30-14 and coming all the way back, forcing overtime and winning in overtime. And, that might be the most courageous game of the year and probably to date the biggest win of Sam Darnold's NFL career, if you want to believe that. But obviously, this is a critical matchup. And, like I said, I wasn't a big fan of the 49ers from what they did to the Eagles 2 years ago. And obviously, Kyle Shanahan struggles in monster games like the Super Bowl. He's thrown away Super Bowls because of bad decisions. And I'm not a big fan. To me, he shouldn't ever be anywhere near a Super Bowl ever again if he's going to keep coaching like that. But he is a really good coach. That's the sad thing. He is a really, really good coach and has done a great job with this franchise over the last decade almost. And Christian McCaffrey being healthy is the main key, more than even Brock Purdy, who has played really, really well since he's returned from injury. He is, and I'll sit there and say this, Matt, you can look at all Mr. Irrelevance, at least since 1994, since we've been at 7 rounds since the modern NFL draft, the 7-round run since 94. He is the greatest Mr. Irrelevant of all time. You tell me anybody else that had a great career as Mr. Irrelevant since 1994. He is the greatest Mr. Irrelevant of all time. But in all serious, back to this matchup. Like I said, speaking of betting, as you know, I did bet this week, and I was going to go division, but they told me no when I went to put it in. So I decided, you know what, fuck it. I just went with the 49ers for everything. So basically, they have to win tonight, and they have to give me everything I need because I'll double my money for that. I can't go with Seattle because if I don't put in a bet for Seattle, and I probably won't, but if I don't, that means I get nothing and I have to like it. but like I said, can Sam Darnold win a big game? Like I said, this is going to be a good matchup. I mean, I'm surprised you picked the score that you picked. I think it's going to be a battle. These are two very equally matched teams. Strong defensively. Probably Seattle's more stronger because they have more of a pass rush. Obviously, the 49ers, their 2 pass rushers were injured, even though I've heard reports that Fred Warner could come back for the playoffs. We'll keep that posted. But they did lose Nick Bosa for the whole season. So, but like I said, Christian McCaffrey has been he's been their rock. He should be MVP. Even more than Drake May, in my opinion, just because he's kept that thing around, that team around, and it made them a contender again. And I'm going to go with the 49ers because if I don't, I'm going to lose money and they aren't going to get what they want. And that's a road to the Super Bowl through their house. So, like I said, both these teams can be dangerous on the road. So it's not like, they're going to play Carolina or Tampa Bay. So it's not like the constellation is going to be bad. It's just that will they be motivated? That's a question mark. But give me the 49ers here. They're going to win this game on a walk-off field goal and the final score 34-31. All right. So before we get to our main event, we'll talk about the Eagles' playoff situation. Like I said, the Bears obviously have had a great year, a comeback years. The Ben Johnson experiment has worked, and they are division champs. Obviously, the Eagles have won the NFC East as well, but now the battle for the 2 seed is on. This is pretty much the only real battle tomorrow, head to head, because nothing else is really going to go on head to head in significance. So here's the easy scenario: Bears win, they have the 2 seed and get at least 2 playoff games at home. They don't win if they don't lose their wild card game. Eagles must win, but they don't control the destiny. So if Bears lose, they can win. They will be the 2 seed once again and will face the Green Bay Packers for the second straight year. The story is winner gets Green Bay, loser gets the Rams because they are locked in. So critical matchups for both. We'll start with the Bears. They are hosting the Lions. And like I said, for Ben Johnson, seeing the Lions again. Now, what's funny is these two teams haven't faced each other since September. In that matchup, the Lions put up 52 points. Still to this day, the highest scoring game of the season of any team, the highest score of any team had this year. So this is interesting. I know the Lions are nowhere near as good offensively as they were then, but can they play spoiler for the Eagles to get the 2 seed, or can the Bears win this game and pose as an outside threat outside of the NFC West to get to Santa Clara? Go ahead.
Well, you know me, I'm not a Bears fan. I'm not a believer in Caleb Williams. But overall, the team's playing well this year. Ben Johnson's done a good job maximizing what he can get out of Caleb Williams. Because let's be real, Caleb Williams hasn't been some amazing quarterback. He's just been all right. But they're winning. They keep winning games. They're going up against a Lions team that pretty much has nothing to play for at this point. And they haven't been playing well lately anyway. So, if you ask me, I'm looking at one team has something to play for, the other team has nothing. I'm going with the Bears for one with a final score of sorry, right here. Going with the Bears with a final score. I'll just say 33-23.
33-23?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, the Bears have obviously had a great year. I know as you know, you and Caleb Williams are not going to share Christmas cards or go have dinner together or whatever. But obviously, when you look at this Detroit, you can tell how different Detroit is without Ben Johnson. As I mentioned on the look back this week, they are not the same team without him. They are not the same team. And Dan Campbell is not the genius that everybody thinks he is. See, I feel like with you and Caleb Williams, I feel the same way about Dan Campbell. I don't think he's that good a coach. I think he's been carried by Ben over the last couple of years. And I just feel like with the Lions, they have peaked. And I don't think they're going to peak anymore. I don't think they're going to be that. They'll still be decent, but they're not going to be no threat. They were a threat the last 2 years. Now look where they're at. They're in last place going into this matchup. They're behind the Vikings, they got beat by the Vikings twice this year, and their quarterback play is garbage. So Jared Goff got beat by a bunch of garbage. I can say that Caleb Williams is above what the Vikings put out there this year, right? You can agree with me on that, right?
Right.
But still, at the end of the day, they're probably going to play their starters. It's the pride thing. I hate that. I love the word, but I hate the word too. But at the end of the day, I shouldn't hate the word, but it comes off in an odd way. But in theory, I mean, the Bears at home have been good, but they haven't been great. I think they're a better road team than they've been a home team under Ben Johnson, maybe. I'm going to say this. I think Detroit pulls it off. I think they find a way to shake things up in the NFC. I think they win this game. Something tells me they're going to win this game. I don't know. Maybe just because if Caleb, like you, I understand he's not a good thrower. We don't have to go over Caleb Williams' throwing abilities, and he's only good for 5 good throws a game. But I think that Detroit wants to prove that we could still be a decent enough offense without Benny. So I'm going to go with the Lions in a slight upset, in a shocking upset that could open the door, 34-32.
Well, yeah, I mean, next year's going to be the real test of the Lions, man, because, we've seen the Eagles lose both coordinators, fall apart, and now it's happening to the Lions. So now we'll see if they can bring in a new offensive coordinator and turn this team around, get back to where they should be, where they want to be. And I don't know, I'll give Dan Campbell credit, but, I'm not a huge fan of the guy either, but he did help build a pretty good team there. It's just could just be down at the beginning of the end. We'll see.
But here's the thing: unlike here in Philly, they don't have a Super Bowl appearance or a title for a cushion like Sirianni is. He doesn't have that cushion, and Campbell knows it. So Campbell knows next year is a big year for him because Detroit is not a team that has history of long-term success, and head coaches, after a while, even though Campbell's done a great job there, he's done an absolutely exceptional job there for what they've been through. I think the impatience level is going to get bigger if they don't make the playoffs in 2026. And if they don't,
Right.
if it's another disappointing year, like you said, you're not a big Sirianni fan, but he's got that Super Bowl cushion and comfortability that Campbell does not. Campbell could be looking for a new job after next year if they don't get it together. So critical year next year, as you said, and you're absolutely right. It is a very critical year, but for Dan Campbell, he has no excuses and no comfort leeway. He's got to get the right people in here or he's going to be out. All right. Let's look at the Eagles. I mean, they're not playing Hurts. They're not playing the offensive starters. I don't know about the defense. They might not really play anybody out there, but still, the second team should be able to beat Washington. They got nobody out there either. So, I mean, obviously, these two teams, Washington is looking for blood because of what happened to them last time these two teams played. There was a near riot at the end of the game for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason was. They were trying to talk shit, but they at the end of the year, you're now on the Eagles level, and you're normally not, and the season has been a complete. Go ahead to this matchup. I'll explain when I talk. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, one thing with this one, remember, the Eagles don't seem like they're playing their starters as far as I've seen. So, uh, you know, they obviously aren't all that concerned about whether they get the 2 or 3 seed. They'd rather rest their guys. Now, Tanner McKee, this could be a nice addition for him, audition for him. He's played really well when he's gotten in games, both preseason and regular season. And looking at he's got a chance here if he has another big game. Maybe a team looks to trade for him and make him their starter next year. There's going to be a whole bunch of teams looking for quarterbacks, and draft. There's like 2 good quarterbacks in the draft that are decent prospects. The rest of them, there's a lot of talent, but they're all mostly developmental types. So it's not like all these teams are going to be looking to draft quarterbacks. So we're looking at guys like Tanner McKee, Malik Willis, just showed up last week. Maybe Kirk Cousins. There's not a whole lot of options out there. So the Eagles are probably going to try to trade him because it's his last year of his rookie deal anyway. So that being said, we got the backups and we don't care. I think McKee has a good game, but I just think that the team really doesn't care that much. We'll probably let up points. And I don't even know who's playing quarterback for Washington. I haven't even looked at it.
Again. Could be Josh Johnson again. He did
well,
play well at Christmas.
You know what? In that case, I was thinking Mariota, but yeah, he's into it. Yeah, in that case, if it's Josh Johnson, you're going to win the Eagles in an ugly one. But McKee will pull it out for him. I'm going to say McKee and Jahan Dotson both have good games this week because Dotson is a free agent after this year. This is his chance to actually maybe get on the field and get some targets. Eagles barely pulling out, let's say 20-17.
Like I said, with Washington, they came in this season playing the old George Allen deal. Since we were in the NFC title game last year, we'll keep that roster. We'll get some more old guys in here, Hall of Famers, and we'll go for it all. No, you didn't. You didn't go for it all. You went the other way. And after you played the Bears, they reversed your ass. And the season fell apart, as we all know. Look, Washington, I don't know what you got to do to fix that mess. That they made it a mess. It's amazing. It's almost like, how can a team make the NFC title game and fall off like that? But we all kind of knew Washington wasn't going to be as good as last year. We just didn't think they were going to fall back to the crap that they've been for the longest time. A 4 or 5 win team at the bottom of the division. Only the Giants haven't won. They've won less, but it's just poor. It's just poor and poor coaching and poor injuries. Just a bunch of old guys that are. All you need to know about the Washington when they did the Netflix thing. I don't care if you cared about watching those games. You probably didn't. They had Austin Eckler doing pregame for the Washington game on Netflix. That just tells you how bad the Washington team was this year. We used to call them the Deadskins when they were called the other name. But my buddy Gilly, as you know Gilly, the rapper Gilly, he calls them the Bummanders. He ran off and started calling them Bummanders. And that's what I'm probably going to call them now, the Bummasters. Because let's be honest, their mindset is stupid, and it's just they're going to fight for what? Your team is garbage. I mean, I don't know. But like I said, the Eagles last year were in the same position with Tanner McKee. He made the start against the Giants, and they won. It was obviously a close game just because second team versus whatever their best was, and that's what will be the case on Sunday afternoon, late Sunday evening. They're going to play their best versus our second team, and I still think our second team is better enough to beat them, and I don't think Washington's going to be good enough. I just think that like you said, McKee might be auditioning for another job, a starting job, if he's capable of winning. And I know he is, but he knows he can't overdo it. So, like I said, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm going to go with the Birds. I think they win this game. I think Washington will try, but I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a good one for. They're wearing their Kelly Greens again tomorrow. I'm hearing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're wearing funny jerseys. Like, really, why don't y'all wear jerseys that we wouldn't wear? I don't know what the hell they're wearing. It's supposed to be Kelly Greens, a mixture of some other shit. I don't know, but like I said, last year they wore the black jerseys in the finale, but they got another game with the Kellys apparently. So Kelly Greens or Kelly Blacks, whoever the hell they're going to be wearing. But I'll say Terry McGee will get a late touchdown in the fourth, and that should be able to give the Eagles the edge. So give me the Birds. It might be enough to get the 2 seed if Detroit and Chicago gets interesting, but I doubt it. But give me the Birds to finish 12-5, and the final score 25-20.
Okay.
And normally, as good as this defense is, if it's the first team, they could go scoreless, but I expect, whatever. All right. There's one more game left in the regular season. Tomorrow night, NBC, they always have the finale, but they have the Truckery and the Super Bowl game this year. But these two teams definitely ain't going to it. And one of them is not going on after this. So the Ravens, for whatever ungodly reason, is still alive to make the playoffs. After what happened to them 2 weeks ago on a Sunday night, where they lost to the Patriots, blew another lead, and then Pittsburgh won in Detroit. Then a miracle happened. They beat Green Bay in Lambeau, outplayed them, and then somehow the Browns' in-house defense, in-your-house defense, stifled Aaron Rodgers and that offense. So now the stage is set, unlikely, for the AFC North. It's a winner take all, a true winner take all. You know the drill. Winner wins and moves on to the wild card round. Loser is out and wonders what happened. Rumor has it, if the Pittsburgh loses, this could be the great Aaron Rodgers' final game of his career. We don't know that, but if they don't win, we might have seen the end of one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And we're talking about great quarterbacks, not great people. But interesting matchup here. Like I said, now the rumor going around is that Lamar Jackson will play in this game. He seems like he's healthy enough, according to coaches. We'll see. But all right, Matt, who wins the AFC North?
Well, I'm making this one my lock of the week. I actually use this as one of my picks on Wednesday too. I don't. I didn't see the most updated spread, but it was 3.5. I think it was 3 when I looked at it last. It might be down to 2.5. I don't know, but it was Baltimore giving with the actual with the favorites to win this game, at least like with Vegas. But I mean, I don't even know if Lamar Jackson's playing, but he hasn't been good this year. I think Huntley's playing again this week, right?
I hope so, but they saying that they're pushing for Lamar to start, and he said to reporters that yesterday he is going to play.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm
Either
hearing.
way,
That's what I'm hearing.
either way, I don't have much faith in your Ravens, man. I think they caught a break just being here. And I think the miracle left ends for them. I think the Steelers win this one outright, but they're getting, I'm saying 3. It might be 2.5. Either way, I don't care. I think they're going to win it. But I'll take the points also, um, especially in a game like this. If Pittsburgh loses, I think it'll be a field goal game anyway. So yeah, I'm going with Pittsburgh with a final score of, I'm going to say 26-24.
I've been talking with Ken the last couple of days on a chat or texting. I was even trying to get me and him to watch the game together, but he said no. Yeah. I mean, it's sad to see these two teams the way they're at. You would expect it to be like 12 and 13 wins, like Seattle and San Francisco. Two great teams battling for a shot at glory. And you would hope the other team would just be in the playoffs. But that's not where this division is, and that's not where these two teams are going to be at. One's going, and one isn't. And you didn't bring this up, the DK Metcalf reasoning. I mean, all Pittsburgh had to do last on Sunday was to beat the Browns. And for whatever reason, and Shedeur Sanders played a little bit of a role. I'm not going to give him all the credit. They did enough. They did enough to win that game and to give the Ravens life that they may not deserve, maybe they don't deserve. And then the fact that the DK Metcalf situation is going to be one of the biggest antidotes of the season. The fact that he messed with some Stunad in Detroit, somebody that, some Stunad. Like, Matt, you've watched the NFL since what, the late 80s, early 90s? We start watching the NFL regularly, just on the regular.
Yeah.
Not just being an Eagles fan, obviously. Like, how long?
Right.
Like, how long
I don't know exactly when, but right around there.
But still, you deal with opposite fans. When you're on the road, you deal with fans that's going to heckle you and call you names and all kinds of shit. The only two things they shouldn't do is throw anything at you or fight you. That's the two things they're not allowed to do. It's to throw stuff and fight you. And But whatever Metcalf did with that fan could be the death nail of the Pittsburgh Steelers as we've known. For Mike Tomlin, obviously for Aaron Rodgers, who it really don't matter to them, but it absolutely affected them. And he's not going to be on that field tomorrow night. And the Ravens are going to have Derrick Henry, who had his best rushing game of his Ravens career last week. 4 tutties and over 200 scrimmage yards. I'm telling you right now, Matt, I don't have a good feeling about the Steelers. Their offense does not excite me. They don't run the ball very well. They don't. Valdez Scantling. I just saw. He was on the 49ers this year. They let him go to the Steelers. And I saw him play yesterday. I saw him play a little bit in that Browns game. He didn't even know the cadence of Aaron Rodgers. He didn't even know, but he should know because he was there in Green Bay with him. This is not going to end well for the Steelers. And I've been coming on here lately about the Steelers. They gotta change things, man. This charade's got to end. They're not, and it's not like my Ravens are going to go anywhere in the playoffs either. But let's be honest, both of these teams are in bad shape right now. They gotta make changes before the 2026 season in many, many ways. If it has to be a quarterback change, if it has to be even a head coaching change, both of these teams are garbage. They're garbage now. They're not good. But I'm going to go with my Ravens because I can't trust that Aaron Rodgers is going to trust this offense. I don't think he has any confidence in anybody that's on the field right now because Calvin Austin also got hurt, and he's not playing either. His two best receivers aren't going to be out there. And the Ravens will have Henry, and as long as John Harbaugh doesn't do a dumb move and bench him in the fourth quarter with a lead, like he's done many times before, I expect the Ravens to win this game. And I don't expect this to be close either. So give me my Ravens here. They win this game. They go on to the wild card round. They get their ass whipped by Houston again. I'll take the beat down because I think Houston's going to the Super Bowl. I'm going to be real blunt with you, man. I think Houston's going to be playing on Super Sunday for the first time as the Texans. But they'll win this game and take their lumps next weekend. next Saturday, because that will be the first game on Wild Card Weekend next Saturday. 27-17 Ravens.
Yeah. Well, I do agree, especially with the Steelers. They do have to make some changes to the way they do things with the organization. Probably time to move on from Tomlin. As great of a coach as he
Yeah,
was, everyone has a. At some point, you got to move on, man. You said Eagles had to move on from Reed. He ended up having success somewhere else. No reason Tomlin can't, but at some point, it's just you need to make a change.
and it's not like Tomlin can't coach or nothing. It's just things get stale, as we all know.
Yeah,
Things get stale, and you can't go back. You can't just think that the same thing's going to keep on going and going and going. Tomlin, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He deserves the Hall of Fame. He's been a winning coach, winning seasons every year, but he's got a Super Bowl ring, all that. But you haven't done shit in 10 years, and that's not Steeler football. I know, like I said, I know Ken and a lot of Steeler fans. They're fed up. They're fed up of what's going on. They can sit there and play the whole hum card, but they're fed up. And me as a Ravens fan, watching what's going on with Harbaugh and Jackson, all that, by next year, I'll be fed up. It might be time for them to change things. But for the Steelers, it's time. You cannot go into 2026 with what you have now. It's over. It's done. You have to. It's time. Things can't last forever. If Brady and Belichick were invincible, they'd still be out there playing today. Belichick would still be coaching and Brady would still be playing. But they aren't. They're not. Things will have to change. And hopefully this game tomorrow night and what happens with the Steelers will be a wake-up call. Will be a wake-up call. A major wake-up call. So that's all we have for this. Like I said, join us, hopefully Wednesday. I forgot about Wednesday with Kwame, but hopefully on Wednesday we'll have the look back, and we will obviously have a playoff preview special. Hopefully, maybe Ken will join us, maybe not. I'll get in touch with him tomorrow during the game. And like I said, Matt and I will be back here most likely on Saturday to preview the 6 wild card games. Wait a minute. There's a game on Peacock. They're going to be playing Friday too? Or is it going to be Saturday, Sunday, and Monday? I have to check.
I
But
don't even know. It's in the past. They played that last game on Monday, but
I know, yeah,
who knows?
that's a Monday game. But I heard that Prime's doing a playoff game, but I think that might be all Saturday. That might be Saturday, so we might be able to preview it. If there is a Friday playoff game, I'll let you know. We'll know the schedule tomorrow night, but most likely join Matt and I next Saturday for the wild card preview of the lookout, and obviously the Eagles will be a part of it as a 2 or a 3 seed against the Packers or the Rams. And I'm pretty much believing that if they play the Rams, that will be the Monday night game. That will be the Monday night game. I have a good feeling they're going to save that one. That's a big matchup. But that's all we have for this episode. Enjoy your wild card. Your final game of the regular season. Hopefully your team makes the playoffs, wins the division. Raiders get the number 1 seed. In the playoffs, number 1 pick in the playoff. What am I talking about? In the draft. This season's long and drawn. Gets on my nerves this season sometimes, but whatever. Enjoy your football weekend, and we'll see you during the week. Maybe.
Amen.
With an asterisk.